Hello and welcome to another high-ev video tutorial of the VIS-2000 system. So in this video, we're going to cover auto commissioning, and this process is very beneficial because every building is different, all the plumbing arrangements are different, and the system is capable of going out and teaching itself. We pride ourselves on not basing our volume on time, which is certainly not what we do. Every plant is metered. But we also do need to know how long something should take because you can't let it run forever. Maybe there's something wrong and we don't want it to just keep trying. So when everything's working like it's supposed to, the system is able to teach itself how long it should take to water a particular banks or the plants. And there's a conservative number put on it. If it takes over the conservative value, whatever the time it takes plus a conservative value, it'll give up on that bank and move on to another bank and give another bank a chance to do its thing. So um, in one of the previous tutorials, we discussed how to kind of do a pre-auto commissioning thing to make sure all the valves are working and that you're getting volume, feedback and whatnot from that station node. In this video, we're really covering how to do the auto commissioning process itself. So first things first, we'll go into system settings. I've got all 6 banks configured in this one. I want you guys to see exactly what it looks like for all 6 banks. And I don't have any valves that are disabled, but it is important to note if you are going to run a bank with partial stations active, you don't, and I've said this in a previous tutorial, the ones that you leave blank, you want to leave at the tail end of the list. So for example, if you're only running 8 station nodes on a bank controller, don't run 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. Run 1 through 8 and leave 9, 10, 11, 12 disabled. The system, and this is very important when it comes to the auto commissioning process, the system's really teaching itself what's normal for 6 valves at a time. Um, and it uses that as a baseline. So you don't want to, and if you have less than 6 valves on a bank, that's fine. It'll calibrate itself to that. But you don't want to have, you really want to, if you got a partial one that doesn't have 6 valves, maybe it's only 7, 8, 9 in this row here, the column, I guess you say, but you want to leave you want to go from 1 to the highest number you have and leave and then disable the ones that are the highest numbers, if that makes sense. So I won't beat that up anymore, but it's important that you know that. So we click done. So everything here is uh, is actually enabled. Let me turn my speaker off here again. Sorry about that. So everything here is, all the station nodes are enabled. It is worth noting, however, that I have disabled bank 2 as a whole bank, and I did that on purpose. So we're going to go through here again, just double check. Nothing says disabled except for bank 2. Bank 2, remember you click up here or tap there or untap there to enable or disable a bank. When you're doing an auto commissioning process, it's very important to note, even with a bank disabled, because this is kind of like an out of band kind of AI teaching itself what's normal scenario. It wants to know everything. So it is going to enable that bank for you. If you don't want to run a bank, like before you run an auto commissioning process, if there's a problem with that bank, you need to fix it before you do that. And that's just the way it is. If this is the only time a disabled bank does not get bypassed during an auto commissioning process, and you're going to see that when it's done, it'll put it back. It should put it back to a disabled state for you. So it's polite about it, but it's going to steal it. It's going to take it. It's going to enable it. And it's going to run it. So please understand that auto commissioning is different than when you're normally running a system. So I'm going to go into system maintenance, and this is the numbers you're probably going to see when you first purchase a system. If you move a system from one building to another, um, it's not a bad idea to just hit factory reset here, although the auto commissioning process will do that for you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and run through this process now so that you can see what's going to happen. It's going to take a little bit. So you're just, you're going to click auto commission, and it's going to tell you here, system commissioning. System has set all configured plants to 1 gallon. Press start to continue or quit to cancel this process. Once you start this process, you can't, like if you quit it, you got to rerun it. You can't quit midterm. You got to really, like you cancel it and it doesn't complete at that point. Note, and then it's important to note, once commissioning process is started, you can stop or you can stop and continue the process, but cannot quit. I'm sorry. You can't quit the process. You can either stop or continue. If you want to quit, you actually have to unplug the system and power it down. We're pretty we're pretty hell bent on getting this process done. It's very tightly controlled, so no quitting. You just have to kill power to the system and start over if that's what it comes to. And it says that right here. The process, quit the process. If you must quit the process, you must power cycle the entire system. So that's that. So if you choose at this point, I don't want to do this, never mind, I want to back out, you just back out. It's that simple. And whatever values were here prior will get reinstated. So it's like that's your one chance. If you don't want to back out, you read this and you're good with all these terms, you go ahead and click start. And here we go. So configuring valves, and we're running. So the system is now teaching itself what's normal for 1 gallon of delivery to each plant in that particular bank. And notice it's only running. Oh, notice bank 2 is disabled and now it's enabled. So that's what I was saying. It took it back over and said, nope, I'm running it. Notice that it's only running the first set of 6 valves. It's not running all 12 valves. And the reason is all we really need to know is how long it takes to water 6 valves. Because usually it's almost always like a water supply problem. Like how long does it take that supply to get to that bank? And we find that the first set of 6 is fine. That's why it's super important if you only have 8 valves to run the first set of 6, because otherwise it'll calibrate itself to, only 5 or 4 or whatever. So it's running the first set of 6. It's teaching each bank how long is appropriate for a set of 6 valves to be open at any given time. We're almost done here. Okay, so it tells you commissioning complete, system auto commissioning is complete. Press the maintenance button to return to the maintenance page, or done to return to normal operations. You can do either one. I like to click maintenance, and then I like to look at these numbers, because remember these were much lower numbers. So the system has taught itself how many gallons per second it can deliver at each one of these banks, what's normal. So I always like to kind of come in and reconfirm that's what it did. I'd also like to show you here, if I click commission system, it says please wait. And you notice that it set all these back to the default. And the reason it said please wait, because it was doing that. If I quit, it puts them all back, like I told you earlier. So I decided to back out of this deal, but please wait. You can see that that's all lowered numbers now. It's basically back to the factory default. And if I quit, it goes back. So when you quit, it doesn't get rid of what you had before. It puts it back. And of course, at any time, if you hit factory reset, then that's it. That's where it's at. And that's really the importance of those numbers is that it's important. Like the system needs enough runway to really have a lot of runtime. So also when you're doing an auto commissioning process, it's up to you to really watch and observe everything and make sure it's working like you'd expect it to, because it's teaching itself. So I'm given a lot of time and a lot of extra I guess I've loosened up a lot at that point, so the system has enough runway to kind of teach itself what's normal. So that's pretty much it on the auto commissioning. This is going to make sure that the system remains an equal opportunity system. All bank controllers have an opportunity. I'll also click done here, and I'll go back into bank 2. So let's see, we go through. It looks like it didn't put it back to disable. I believe it's supposed to, but I actually don't remember. I think this is something to do with the simulation, but normally I think if it was disabled, it'll go back to disabled. If you have any questions, you're welcome to shoot me an email or whatnot, and I can answer that more clearly. But for now, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. That's how you go through a auto commissioning process. In more tutorials to come, we'll discuss like how to set up the time of day and volume control and all of that happy stuff. But for now, so long. Take care. Thanks for watching.